I've been thinking, folks. I've been thinking. Están pensando, mi gente. Rehydration has been a hot topic in the sport of boxing, right? Look, we all want to see Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez, right? But Canelo Alvarez has stated that the primary issue in finalizing a fight like that is that David Benavidez rehydrates 25 to 30 pounds. We already know that Gervonta Davis puts most of his fighters recently in a rehydration clause. Ryan Garcia last year in one of the most lucrative fights in the sport of boxing. Mario Barrios when he moved up to the 140-pound division. And now recently, Frank Martin is going to be subjected to a rehydration clause. They say that the WBA made up a new rule. Yeah, okay. Devin the Dream Haney. I remember when Mauricio Sudamon was going back and forth with Bill Haney several years ago, in which Mauricio Sudamon, the president of the WBC, said that Devin Haney rehydrated 24 pounds when he was at lightweight. I think that when he faced Linares or Gamboa, 24 pounds. And then, as we all know, when he faced Regis Prograis, he rehydrated 25 pounds overnight. 25, 25. No crema, 25 libra. Wow. But there's been one guy in the sport of boxing that is destroying everything. That is beating up, retiring folks, making people quit after quit after quit, retire after retire after retire with a rehydration clause. The IBF Junior Welterweight Champion, El Boricua, the Puerto Rican himself, El Matatán, Subriel Martias. Can you imagine Subriel Martias if he's not subjected to a rehydration clause? Can you imagine Subriel Martias if he does, he fights in a 140-pound division? Can you imagine Subriel Martias if he comes in weighing at 155, 156, 157? How about if he pull a Devin Haney and rehydrates 25 pounds and come in at 165? Pause. If he is beating everybody up from pillar to post, making them quit, making them retire, making them think twice to even step in the ring ever again, with the rehydration clause, you already know that the IBF has a standard 10-pound rehydration clause. So Subriel Martias, he comes in, he can't come over 150 pounds. But if it's a unification bout with the likes of Pitbull Cruz, I would love to see that fight. Subriel Martias versus Pitbull Cruz. If it's Subriel Martias versus Devin Haney, lo mata el tigre. Subriel Martias, Pecosa a Devin Haney. Especially right now, you know Devin Haney is highly vulnerable. Teofimo Lopez, on unification bout, it would be no rehydration clause. So for the first time in a long time, in that level, Subriel Martias is going to feel comfortable. Y puede comer, ya tú sabes, su guandule, su chuleta y toda esa vaina. Ay, mira, con una cerveza también, un presidente o algo así, mi hermano. Un mofongo. Oh. Y en ensalada de papa, tú sabes. But anyway, yo, if Subriel Martias is doing his thing, destroying dudes, ya mató un tigre with a 10-pound rehydration clause. Look at Richardson Hitchens. He don't even want to fight Subriel Martias if because he doesn't need the rehydration clause because he feel. Hey, look at mira que stupid Richardson Hitchens is. He said he wouldn't want to face Subriel Martias on a with the 10 pounds rehydration clause. He'd probably go to the WBC. My man, if I were you, I'll fight Subriel Martias with the rehydration clause. Because if he doesn't fight with the rehydration clause, because you look at, Richardson Hitchens is looking at himself. Oh, he could weight 155, 156 or something. You know what I'm saying? Rehydrate 15 pounds. What about Subriel Martias, my brother? What about Subriel Martias? If I were you, you'd be smart and fight Subriel Martias with the rehydration clause. Instead of with Subriel Martias being highly comfortable and eating anything he wants. Un morir soñando y toda esa vaina, tú sabes, mi gente. But anyway, I think that Subriel Martias have not shown his greatness because he's been limited. What about when he's not limited? What about if it's a unification bout and then the rehydration clause is out the window? Huh? If you think that Subriel Martias is dangerous now, can you imagine how dangerous he will be when he's not subjected to a rehydration clause? And maybe there's going to be managers. Look, there's going to be a good fight with Liam Paru. It could be, 6 in a row that he retires somebody. But look, there's been people that come to my channel and be like, yo, but punch. Yeah, hey, you was being hard on Subriel Martias. You know what I'm saying? Look, again, let me clarify myself. When the criticism of Subriel Martias, and that was concerning a potential fight with Teofimo Lopez. This is what bugged me out with a lot of people. It's because everybody knows when it comes to the best resume of this young generation, that Teofimo Lopez is proven. You know that. At least Teofimo Lopez. I don't even know why a lot of Subriel Martias was mad at Teofimo Lopez. Because if a lot of Matias fans, and Matias, I've spoken to Matias. I told Matias when we did the interview with Mill City, go watch the interview that I was doing with Mill City and Subriel Martias. I told Subriel Martias, call out everybody, that you need to be more vocal. Que tú tienes que hablar más mierda, tú sabes, call everybody out, because it's going to be easy for these guys to push you to a side, right? So then after the fight, he called everybody out, right? But the thing is, when he called the Rollies and the Gervonta Davis and the Haneys and the Ryans and stuff like that, he called a Teofimo Lopez that we all know, whether you're a fan or not, we all know that Teofimo Lopez actually is the one that risked it. He's the one that been in 2 fights with 2 pound-for-pound fighters and been an underdog. Ese tigre no es cobarde. Y'all know it, and everybody else know it. And if nobody wants to fight Subriel Martias, at least Teofimo Lopez send the contract. Now, if Subriel Martias was not ready, he was not ready. Is that Teofimo Lopez's fault? Or are you going to criticize Teofimo Lopez because he wasn't ready? Huh? We know that Subriel Martias will fight anybody. Let me tell you like this, folks. Subriel Martias, he will fight anybody. Teo will fight anybody. Y'all know that, right? Ryan Garcia will fight anybody, right? But their team may not want to risk their investment just yet. I believe Teofimo Lopez versus Subriel Martias next year, 2025, June, New York City, Puerto Rico Day Parade is the right time. I always felt like that even last year. The beginning of the year. I feel Subriel Martias versus Teofimo Lopez, Madison Square Garden, 2025. Let Subriel Martias smack the ish out of Liam Paru, knock him out, and then probably in September or November, he fights in the Barclays Center and in front of the New Yorican crowd. You know what I'm saying? Beat up a guy like Richardson Hitchens that's from Brooklyn. And then 2025, the biggest fight, the most lucrative fight in the sport of boxing, maybe Teofimo Lopez versus Subriel Martias. That's what I really want. So I don't think that Subriel Martias is scared of anybody. I don't think that Teofimo Lopez, y'all should know that. None of these guys are scared. It's the management that be like, you know what? Right now is not the time. Let's build the Puerto Rican fan base, because that's what I want as well. I want that Cotto, that Tito Trinidad fan base to emerge. I'm from New York City. Ya tú sabes, mi gente. Hector Camacho. I know. Hey, yo, I'm going to tell you like this. For all Latinos on this side of the pond, we know that Puerto Rico is the primary fan base and one of the most lucrative and loyal fan base. I feel Puerto Rico when I go to when I used to, pump Cotto, Tito, Hector Camacho's from Spanish Harlem around my way. Huh? You feel me? So I know how special the Puerto Rican fan base, and I think that Subriel Martias is the primary person outside of Amanda Serrano, the queen Amanda Serrano, the GWO, the real, the best, the greatest of all time, women boxer of all time. Amanda Serrano, the 7th Division World Champion, undisputed, la reina de boxeo. Amanda Serrano, my favorite fighter. Y'all already know I'll be supporting Amanda Serrano since day one. Shout out to Jackie Hernandez, la reina de boxeo. I think that will be, I think when it comes to Teo and Matias, that will be the best matchup, because I do feel that Teo is the only one that at least approach Subriel Martias, and Subriel Martias have acknowledged that. I think he the one that got the biggest heart to face Subriel Martias, and I think other guys have been highly tempted to call him out. Maybe a Regis Progress, but he don't got anything to lose, so he will face a Subriel Martias now. That will be a good fight, but I think Subriel Martias will win. So, but we have not seen Subriel Martias at this level without a rehydration clause. So if we think that Subriel Martias is dangerous now, he's going to be dangerous once the unification bouts. It's going to be an epic fight with Subriel Martias and the Pitbull Cruz because their styles just mesh real good. I would like to see that fight, Mexico versus Puerto Rico. That's a real Mexican-Puerto Rico showdown. Not the Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga I like Edgar Berlanga. I support Edgar Berlanga, from New York City, Brooklyn, New York. But he's not ready to challenge Canelo Alvarez at the moment. I just don't like the resume, and the performances with guys that it's like E-level fighters. Nah. He's not ready for Canelo. But the real Mexican versus Puerto Rico is Subriel Martias and Pitbull Cruz. Or Ryan Garcia if they want to consider him a Mexican, but he's more Americanized Mexican, you know what I'm saying? He's more Oscar de la Hoya, right? So what y'all think? Do y'all think that Subriel Martias rehydrating is going to be the same? Or is he's going to feel too heavy, or is he going to be more dangerous? See, a lot of people, right? Everybody's talking about rehydration. But if we real, I think that Subriel Martias has been the most comfortable fighter, one of the most disciplined fighters in terms of that he's been fighting a rehydration clause, and he has not complained about losing weight. Has complained about feeling depleted. He has not complained about anything. He's just looking dangerous after dangerous. Again, I think he'll beat Gervonta Davis. You know what I'm saying? He's not trying to test that water. And think about it. Tank Davis put Mario Barrios in a rehydration clause. And Mario Barrios feel depleted. Subriel Martias, what you going to do? Put me in a rehydration clause. I've been fighting rehydration clause all the time. And I'm still dangerous. They can't even pull that they can't even pull those games with Subriel Martias because he's used to it. And put it this way. I think we will all want all the sanctioning bodies to implement that 10 pounds rehydration clause. So I'm not actually mad about the Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis and the WBA doing their thing. I think it's just the principle. I think that why would you change the rules now when it's Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin? I just feel like it was kind of fishy. I don't feel like they genuine like the IBF. That's why I'm like, come on, WBA. Come on now. I seen them change their rules. Even when Floyd Mayweather became the super champion after the Maidana fight. And there was a rule in 2015 that you only become a WBA super champion if you defend the regular championship belt 5 times straight. Defended 5 times straight with five straight wins. Floyd Mayweather beat Maidana. He gets the super title and then avoids to fight Keith Thurman around that time. Y'all remember? So the WBA is in the pockets of PBC. That's what it is. But the IBF has been strict. Look, the IBF has mandated Canelo Alvarez and given him a purse bid date. And they have stripped Canelo Alvarez in the past. So Subriel Martias is in the strictest belt federation, and he's not even complaining about the strictness, and he's just destroying everybody else. He got a fight June 15th on the same date as Gervonta Davis. I don't know which one you're gonna want to see. I think that out of everybody, out of Teo versus his next opponent, probably Steve Claggett on June 29th. Shakur Stevenson, I believe he fights in July. Tank is going to be fighting on the same day, June 15th. We already seen Ryan Garcia and Devin the Dream Haney. I think that Subriel Martias got the most significant fight coming up. The Liam Pyro, I think that's the most significant fight and the biggest challenge that all these guys are going to be facing. Let me know what y'all think. How do y'all feel about Subriel Martias without the rehydration clause? Do you think he's going to be more dangerous, more deadlier? Let me know, man. Y'all already know. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. Love you. God bless. And on to the next.